Hi everyone, I'm Tom McGrath from the Red Bank YMCA, and I'm here to help you become healthy and fit from home. And today it's all about a beginner's class in cycling. I'm on the bike already. What's really important for anyone that wants to start out with a cycling program is to make certain that the bike you have is appropriate for you. We base this upon a number of things. One would be the height of the seat, the distance between the seat and the handlebars, and the height of the handlebars. Right now, mine is set up perfectly for me. But when you get on the bike, and before you get on the bike, I should say, you're going to want to make sure that you measure the top of your seat to the top of your crest of your hip. That's called the iliac crest. When you match that, then you know you have a good height to start with. You get on the bike and you measure from there the distance between your elbow and your fingertips to the handlebar. And if that's appropriate, then you're good to go. And finally, the height of the handlebars is more personal. As you start out with a cycling class, maybe you want your handlebars to be up a little higher so you're not bending over so much. But as you get into the program, as time goes on, you may find yourself keeping a lower handlebar. That's perfectly fine. My own story for how I became a spin instructor goes back about 19 years ago. Every Saturday, my wife would say to me, "Tom, would you like to take a spin class with me?" The first time she asked me, I asked her what a spin class was. She told me, "Well, we ride a bike to music." Well, I wasn't interested, and it took a few weeks, perhaps a little bit longer than a few weeks, for me to actually join her. And when I did, I saw the beauty of indoor cycling. I saw what it would do for me and how it would develop relationships here at the YMCA with people I had never met before. All the time, building my heart, building my muscles, just giving me a better respiratory reserve. So I went ahead and did it, enjoyed every Saturday spin class with her, and then became an instructor. And that was 6 months after I started, and now it's been over 18 years, and we really have a great program here. So now that I've been riding for about 5 minutes, I'm going to now take my gear, my resistance, and move it up. I'm taking it from a 1 to a 10. For me, that 10 begins the road, the feel of the road that I like to ride. And now I have some substance underneath my legs. My revolutions per minute, also known as cadence, is now at 85. So that you know, speed, cadence, and resistance increases your heart rate. And that is what this is all about. This is all about building your heart rate, bringing it up, bringing it down, bringing it back up, bringing it down. Okay? Make sure you drink your water from time to time. I'm now sliding up to a gear of 12. And on this bike, it goes up to 24. And the higher the number, the harder the resistance. So you can think of resistance as wind resistance, could be water or sand resistance, it could be climbing a mountain, at one of the local parks where you might be walking up the hill and you feel it, you feel the huffing and the puffing, that's resistance. Right now my cadence is a healthy 85. At a cadence of 85, I'm also at 12 on the resistance. Now after about 8-9 minutes, you kind of get tired. Things start being a little sore, so you might want to move around. So let me show you how you can move around. Straight up. I'm standing on the pedals. We refer to this as running in two. I'm going to stay up here for a bit. Some of these are advanced moves. Some of these might take you a while to understand and to explore. But nonetheless, this is all part of the cycling program. In a moment, I'm going to show you some jumps. I have an affinity for jumps. I love doing jumps. I like to do 5-second jumps. I like timing them. I'm not a big counter for doing things. I just like to go by time. But you will find yourself or other instructors might do a jump or something different than what I'm doing. That's the beauty of the cycling program. It's all a reflection of what the instructor wants to do and how well they can communicate that to you. And get ready, down I go. I'm going to come back up in 5 seconds, and I'm up. And down. And up. And I'm down. Now, to help build my heart rate up a little higher, because it's still at the same number, I'm going to add a little bit more resistance. So I went to 15. 15 on a scale of 24, and I can now feel it in my quads. And I'm down. I'm going back up. I can sense I'm getting a little winded, but that's okay. That's what it's supposed to do. You can actually do this the whole class. As a matter of fact, sometimes when I teach it this way, some of my members, they look at me with a sad face. I can assure you of one thing. I can't recall when the last time I taught the same class. There's so much flexibility to doing an indoor cycling class. It seems like no 2 days are the same. Now I'm going to show you something else. As soon as I get a drink of water here. Now we're going to go up into hand position 3. Remember, I said earlier, never take both hands off at the same time. So here is my left hand, and here's my right. Also, my shoulders are loose, and I focus on fingers. If I see white knuckles, that's not a good sign. That means the rider is putting too much energy into the hands. You want to be loose. So this is up in 3, and this is when you're like climbing. You're climbing a hill. It could be on a road, or it could be in the mountains. This is a fun place to ride. As a matter of fact, I'm going to reach down. I'm going to go from 15. I've got to look down for a moment, so don't go away. And I'm at 18 now. And that is strong. If you can see my legs, you're going to see my legs are slowing down. It's like I'm pushing down on bricks, lots of bricks. Sometimes if I want to push that heart rate up a little higher, I'll hit a sprint here. Now, speaking about sprints, when we do one later, we never go longer than 30 seconds. The way I was taught, a sprint by definition is an all-out effort by the human body that lasts no longer than 30 seconds. Very few humans can sprint at 100% longer than 30 seconds. Okay, here I go. I'm going to start picking it up. If you see my legs, I picked it up. My heart rate's going up. I can assure you that. And 10 more seconds of doing this, and then I'm going to sit down. 3, 2, 1. My hands go back into hand position 2. I remove the resistance down, and I take a seat. I'm still riding the bike. I want to check my metrics. This gives me everything I need to know. Watts, revolutions per minute, also known as cadence. Gives me time. It gives me my distance. And it also gives me the gear that I'm in. Right now, I went back down to 5. I was at a high of 18. I'm back down to 5. Now, if you didn't have any of this on your bike, and you're in a class and the instructor says, I need you at 100 RPMs, how do you know? So there are 2 ways that I'm aware of. One is if the instructor is at 100 RPMs, or someone next to you has a metric system on their bike, ask them where 100 is. Once you see what they're doing, pick up one of their legs. Again, whether it's the instructor or a rider next to you. Pick up the leg and match that cadence. It's a great way to do it. Then you know you're at 100 or 105 or 110. Whatever the instructor is asking you to do, that's one way to do it. In addition to that, here's the other way to do it. You take your elbow, you drop it to your leg. You let your elbow and leg meet. You're tapping it. Can you see me? You take your hand, whether it's loosely over the handlebar, or you take your fingers like this and wedge them in there. Whatever happens, once you feel it hitting, either start it on your own or ask for a timer, where the instructor will give you, say, 15 seconds. And you are to count how many times your elbow and your leg hit one another over that 15 seconds. And get ready, here I go. And there I am. That was 15 seconds. That was 25 hits. All you do is take the number, multiply it by 4, because you had 15 seconds. So revolutions per minute would be over 60 seconds. We were only doing 15 seconds. 15 seconds times 4 gives you a minute. 25 times 4 gives me 100. I was at a cadence of 100. And it works for any number. It could work for a cadence of 60, for 120. So keep that in mind, okay? If you don't have this on your bike, or you don't have it on your Fitbit, or your watch, or whatever you're using, do it that way. We are 17 minutes into this ride, and we're going to hit a sprint in a moment. I do sprints in a number of ways. With heavy resistance on, with medium resistance on, and sometimes with no resistance on. It depends upon what my playlist is all about. And now you might say, what's this playlist? Haven't mentioned it before, have I? A playlist is music, so I'm listening to music right now. If this were a real class here at the YMCA, you would be listening to my music. And I do different things for the songs that are being played. So keep that in mind, okay? I do different things for whatever song is being played. I come up with a theme. Speaking about themes, some instructors do karaoke day. I like to do on a Saturday, I like to do trivia. I like to have fun, asking questions, and there's a reason why I do that. But I'll tell you that after we hit the sprint, okay? So if you're on a bike with me right now, get ready. We're going to hit a sprint. My gear is at 10 right now. We're going to hit a 30-second sprint. All I say is hit it, and then we go for 30 seconds. Get ready. In 5 seconds. In 3 seconds. 1. Hit it, folks. You have 30 seconds. This is an all-out effort, a push. Your heart rate goes up. You're going to start sweating. So keep that in mind. Push, folks, push. We're halfway there, 15 seconds in already. 5 seconds to go. And break it off. Now, I gave you a little bit of an edge. We didn't go 30 seconds. It's a beginner class. I didn't want to do it all at one time. Let me wipe some sweat off, okay? Remember what I told you earlier? Get that sweat off. Keep the handlebars dry. It's all about safety. Drink your water. If you go to a class ever and you don't have a bottle of water, maybe somebody else can loan you one. But remember, this is being done for you at home. So make sure you have your water near you. Make sure there's no cats or dogs nearby you, right? We don't want them chasing you. Be in your comfort. Play your music loud. Get the emotions of a ride out there. If it's raining, picture yourself there. Maybe on Ocean Avenue in Monmouth County, watching the waves come over the seawall. Get splashed. The winds are coming in your face. You feel it cold along the cheeks. Trust me, you'll get into this real fast. You're looking good. You're looking good, folks. We have about 3 more minutes and then we're going to cool down. Right now I'm listening to Billy Joel and he's telling me to slow down. We're going to do jumps on a hill. I started at 10 here, 10 on the gear. So again, if you have something on your bike, you are midway with the resistance right now. These are jumps on a hill. Come on upstairs. This is hand position 3. And then we go back down. You picture yourself climbing. It never gets easier as you go up. So add a little bit more resistance, maybe 1 or 2 points. We're going to go back up in a moment. Up. I was out at the state park in the Laird this morning at 6:30, riding with my son, and this is what you run into. You are riding the trails and you're doing jumps like this. Put it back down, one hand at a time. We're going to go back up. So go ahead, put a couple more points on the resistance. Again, go back up. I'm at 14 right now. I'm feeling it. I feel the sweat. It feels good. It feels really good. And you should know what you're doing for yourself right now is remarkable. Putting it back down. Remember, this is about you doing this at home and you staying healthy, right? That's what it's about. You make sure that you talk to your physician, right? When you do, ask them, have they ever done it? I'm sure they'll tell you their stories. Adding 2 more points, I'm at 16. And here we are. Beautiful. We're at the top of the hill. You did a great job. Take it all the way off, all your resistance off. Sit back down. Give you a nice round of applause there. Yeah. So there's a lot to cycling indoors. I may have used a branded name before. I'm not too sure. It's all the same. It's just cycling. It's indoor cycling. This is great activity for you. Whatever you can do for yourself, it's a good thing. Remember, anybody can ride. Setting up the bike is the most important thing. You got to make sure you have a bend in the knee, that the leg doesn't lock out once you're at the bottom of the pedal stroke. Very important. The height of the handlebars That's important only if you want to get into really super duper fast riding, okay? At my age, I don't lower my handlebars. I'm happy where I am. I just make sure that the legs are really set up. That's the truth. That's the way I was taught. That and the distance of my elbow to my hand on the handlebar and keeping those shoulders down. I constantly talk about it because I always notice mine go up. It's a habit. And a lot of habits can be fixed if you open your mind up to it, okay? I'm cooling off. We're 24 minutes into this beginner class. This is a good start. We're going to go to an intermediate class in a moment. If you care to join me, just remember, you got to be ready for it, okay? Doesn't hurt to do a beginner class, a couple classes in a row to get used to things. Remember, this is seated. This is how you warm up. This is how you cool off. This is 2, running on the pedals. And this is out in hand position 3. Those are 3 positions you need to know to start your journey for cycling.